What's up, everybody?
Hello.
We're talking to Jason with Unhinged.
Hello.
And
It's my strong hand. It's my strong hand.
He's playing with his hand.
You got to play with yourself every now and then, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, this is the show. We're in. That's it. We're all the way in now. There's no turning back.
No turning back from that.
No
Man.
turning back. Mr. Money is joining us. I've been a shitty YouTuber of late. I've been really busy, and I know I've asked people to back the sub to the channel and stuff like that. And I really should be more consistent with the shows, but son of a bitch, I've been fucking swamped over here.
It's difficult. It's difficult, man.
It's definitely.
You saying
difficult.
You're busy?
Yeah, super
good
busy.
Yeah, he's making excuses for himself. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just fucking lazy. But I'm not blind.
See what you did there. Touche.
Well, I mean, if we were talking before the show, and Jason was telling me that he's got a degenerative eye disorder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mitosis.
Meiosis. I always
meiosis.
My grossness.
His eyes are degenerate.
I am a degenerate. Everyone. Yeah. I'm a genetic freak.
That's crazy, dude. Like that's every artist's nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah.
So either lose their hand or their eyes.
Well, yeah, my brother, he would have seizures sometimes, and he was an artist too, and he would have seizures. He cracked his head one time and he ended up in the hospital. He thought he forgot how to draw. To see the utter depression and just sadness come over him was just, it broke my heart. But he obviously didn't forget. He was just in the hospital. But
I remember, that reminds me of a story of like Frank Frazetta was telling a story about he ran out of solvent, like turpentine, for his oil, because he works in oils, and so I think his wife or somebody picked him up some turpentine, but it turned out to be the cheapest shit you could possibly get a hold of.
I heard about this.
And he said he was trapped in his little office with the fumes, and he was painting, and it fucked him up so bad that he had to go to the hospital. And they put him on some medication, but for the next 3 to 4 months, he couldn't draw or paint anything. Like he didn't know if it was going to come back. He was like, fuck, I think I screwed up this time. Yeah.
And this is from turpentine?
Turpentine. Well, it was supposed to be turpentine.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, as artists, like we love what we do, and we do it so much that it's just become like great, but we don't know how or why we can do what we do. Like we have the passion for it, but there's a lot of people that have a passion for comics and art and drawing, but they just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we don't know what it is. So when we lose it, we're like, oh no. Yeah.
I know. I'm like that too. Like I had some issues last year where I had panic attacks. I basically had a breakdown. Yeah.
Right.
And so I went to my doctor and I'm like, hey, this is going on. What do I do? She's like, well, here's Prozac and here's some other shit. And if that doesn't work, try this. And I started taking it. And then I really started to get afraid. Because I was like, now I'm playing with my brain chemistry. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, this isn't a good idea because it could seriously affect what comes out here. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, so I tried. The Prozac worked. Let me put that out there. Like it did work, but the side effects of the Prozac were horrific, dude.
That's what I hear.
Especially if you're a married guy. Or if you have a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or whatever, you're just not rising to the occasion. Let's put it that way. You know, I mean,
it's like certain forms of steroids. Same thing.
Yep.
That happened to me when I used to use Windstrom. You know.
Yes.
And like for some reason the cutters will do that to you. You know, and I was like, so I quit. Right. I went in and I told him, I said, this Prozac works great, but it's fucking me up in the bedroom. You know, and they were like, okay, well, here's some new shit, right? And I was like, all right. So before I took this one, I was like, you know what? Maybe it'd be a good idea to check this out. Like, what are the side effects before I start taking it, right? Yeah. So I looked it up. And I was like, you know what? I'm better on my own. So I threw it all away, right? Well, that was a mistake because then I started having brain shocks, right? Because you can't just stop antidepressant medicine, because
right,
and it was the weirdest thing, dude. I would wake up and you know how you sprain your elbow? That's how my head felt.
Oh, geez.
It was like fucking vibrating. Yeah, I was like, God damn, dude.
So there's a withdrawal from Prozac?
There's a withdrawal from everything. Whenever you mess with your brain chemistry, you got to wait for your brain to kind of start making the right shit again, right? And I was like, this sucks. So I spent some time trying to get everything right again, and I was still working while I was doing it. So I was trying to work, I was trying to do that, and finally everything kind of evened out a little bit. Like I'm not really dealing with that anymore. But dude, that was some scary shit for a while there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can be frightening, and like I even said earlier before backstage, like I was almost totally blacked out blind, and it's scary because I was in college and I was literally like tilting my head up and trying to see like out of the bottom corner to like shade stuff, and it was frightening, man. I'm like,
so it got better.
It got better because we got my blood pressure under control and things started to get a little bit better. What I'm at now is kind of like what I'll be probably forever. It might get a smidge worse, but hopefully not total blackout blindness, but it's scary, man. If you can't see, you lose I even told everybody, well, if I can't draw anymore, I'm going to sculpt. If I can't sculpt, I'm going to play a guitar. I'm going to do something creative because that's my outlet. That's all I have. Like I work in a shipping department. It's not like I have like a full-time creative field. I got to let these things out or I'll go insane. Even my free flow artwork, I just let it flow, and there's some dark stuff that comes out because I'm letting the demons out that way. I have to let it out. And if I go blind, I'll sculpt through feel. It might look weird. I don't care. Or I'll play a guitar. I'll do something because us creatives, we got to do it. It's just in us.
I worked as an artist ever since I was 19. So I've always had an art job. But the problem was I was working in production art, and you don't get to be creative in production art. You basically have to do stupid shit, like create a mascot. Woo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shit like that. And when I decided to quit, it was because if I didn't quit, I was going to pop my cap. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, fuck this. Boy. I was like, I don't care if I make a quarter or less of what I'm making now. I'm not doing this anymore. This is it. This is where it ends. And to this day, like I still can't. I hate doing t-shirts and advertising work. I fucking hate it, dude. Like when people ask me to do that, I'm like, I'll have it to you. I'll have it to you in no time. Just don't worry about it. And then it was crazy, dude. Like, to this day, it's like one time when I was a kid, I was eating Oreos and peanuts, and shit like that. And I threw up everywhere, and I don't mix Oreos and peanuts again. Because every time I get around it, I get nauseous. Like,
you just think of that time frame, like,
and that's what it's like whenever somebody says, "Hey, can you do a logo for me?"
Dude, that's how I feel with graphic design. No, yeah. That's how I am with graphic design. Like a t-shirt, fine, because if I get to be illustrative. But if they're like, make my logo, I'm like, no, please go to a graphic designer. I'd rather just slam my penis with a hammer. It's not my thing. I'll do it if the money's right, but no. So yeah, I feel you there. But
it's crazy, dude. Like
yeah.
3 nights is finished. That's Micah. Micah's. I was work for hire on that, but it was a lot of fun to do it. And it's, as far as I know, it's going to the printers. It should be going to the printers like within the next couple of weeks.
Awesome.
And and the Doc Salem 2 should be coming out soon.
Are you gonna have book 1 with it?
With Doc Salem 2?
Yeah.
You will have people will have a second chance at it. Like, Doc Salem 2 is going to be coming out when I start canceling, like ending the current campaign on Doc Salem.
Oh, it's still okay. I haven't, dude. With the way everything goes, you know how this weird indie scene that we got going on here is going. I forget about campaigns.
It is.
I forget about backing. So.
I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving that campaign open until I get the next book out. But in the meantime, we're going to have the Doc Salem Blood Hunt crossover. So
that'll be cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah,
I got it. I got
J Money's got his.
Look at J Money showing off like he usually does.
What?
I right now I'm working on getting for the next campaign. I want to have something really cool. Like for Rockabilly Road Trip, we did EPs. You know what I'm saying? Or the Rockabilly Road Trip theme song. So we had little EPs, 45s. For the next Doc Salem campaign, I'm trying to get statues made, like bust. And I'm getting little He-Man figures, like Savage, what is it? Savage Planet? Savage World, Masters of the Universe. Doc Salem figures made.
Right. Awesome, man.
So I'm trying to put a lot of thought into it. But
it's tough coming up with new things for each campaign.
Yeah, but the next campaign, I'm not doing too many alternate covers or anything like that. I just want to go ahead and I just want to put a book out. I want to make it simple. Here's the book, back it. Yeah, I'm not going to do a lot lot of shit.
2 to 3 variants max. That's all you need.
Yeah,
3 is pushing it, but 2 to me is like perfect. Like
I think I had 6.
Oh. Hey, collect them all like Pokemon.
One of us.
Kind of like STDs, you got to catch them all.
Yeah, no, got to catch them all.
I'll just take 1 or 2.
But we're not talking about Doc Salem right now. We're talking about Absolute.
I know that campaign.
This is book 2, so you got another campaign. Yeah. You had another campaign.
I closed it out once I shipped out the last book. You got to back them while you can, and then I close it whenever I'm done fulfilling. But they stay in demand when they're in there. But so I had book 1 out, and it was pretty well received. A lot of people didn't know about it because I campaigned very late. I got into the game, but I didn't know how to do things. So I was mainly on
this book.
Yeah, I was on Frega's channel mainly. And it wasn't until the end of the first month that I started actually getting on other channels, and I was able to finally then, get momentum going. And so a lot of people didn't get it or back it or whatever. So this campaign has a second chance at the first issue, but a lot of people liked it. A lot of people that read it liked it, and they liked the content they got on top of the book. So I'm trying to duplicate those results here, and hopefully this second story concludes everything nicely, and it'll be a good, enjoying, fun read. So,
I'm digging. I like your art style too. It's very indie,
man. That's
not indie in a bad way.
No. This is influenced a lot by Sin City, The Crow, Turtles, stuff like that. Yeah. So, and even my style itself is very unorthodox anyway, just because of my disabilities. So they kind of naturally comes out as like an indie style anyway. Very, very Sam Keith, very John Wayshak, who I'm influenced by. So,
are you saying it would be a lot better if you could see?
Probably, man. You know what? Donate your eyes to me, and we'll find out. With a transplant, which won't do anything anyway.
They had another guy that was. They were in a GoFundMe to kind of save his eyes. He died. He died of.
That's unfortunate, man.
Thanks for bringing. What he died.
Thanks for bringing. Making the stream feel brighter and happier.
I'm not going to bring it.
No, man. If I really feel like I can at least see. Yeah. I feel really bad for the people who can't, because I can't fathom that. So, yeah.
One day, I think I want to do a stream where we just pay homage to all the artists that died, and
that would be cool, man. That would be a good thing, because there's been a lot, especially in the past couple of years. There's been a lot of people that we've lost. So.
Well, there's artists like Wally Wood, right?
Well, yeah,
but everybody's like, Wally Wood committed suicide.
He's still dead though.
But they don't tell you why he committed suicide.
Right.
Just like Wally Wood committed suicide. So your imagination goes wild at that point. You're like, that fucker committed suicide. What a chump, or whatever. What they don't tell you is that Wally Wood was a heavy, heavy smoker, right? And he was a heavy smoker being stuck in an office. Because you were allowed to smoke in your office back then, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking about modern day. We're talking about 1930s, 40s,
like smoking hospitals back then,
50s. Yeah, and
on the airplanes.
Yep.
Wally Wood, he had, and back then, I think they knew smoking was really, really bad for you. It's just that they wouldn't admit it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
Because they want to say like, well, back then they didn't know. I'm like, bullshit. Fucking cigarette companies knew fucking cigarettes were killing you.
Yeah.
But Wally Wood, he basically had emphysema. You know, he had a couple of strokes. He couldn't see out. He couldn't see his fucking. He was paralyzed on one side. I mean, this dude was fucking fucked up, dude. So when you say like Wally Wood committed suicide and leave all of that out,
you're taking out a huge factor of the equation.
Yeah.
But the other thing is when anybody says,
plus he had massive migraine headaches to the point to where they would debilitate, you know, and he started drinking to kind of get past that too. So you got to add all this up, dude. Add all of that up, and then the guy was fucking miserable.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, there's usually a mental part of you that people can't comprehend as the people who do kill themselves. So don't, you gotta look at things from a different side rather than just that person's a coward. It's like that's not always the case.
No, that's almost never the case.
It's almost never the case. Yeah. Well, I'm a chicken, so I'm just gonna go ahead and end it. Then that usually isn't the aim.
Yeah, you got to realize, like, these people, like, especially creatives, dude, when a creative does that, it's because something's really fucked up.
Messed up. Yep. No, yeah. We're already messed up as it is. And so, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's like...
My cousin hung himself in college. He, when Adderall first came out, used to come on this giant sheet of aluminum, and you would pop each one out. You would get, like, a 30-day sheet of aluminum.
Get out of here.
And you had 30 pills on a giant sheet. It would come in a big white box. And one day he was in I want to say it was like an art college, but it was also big on sports, if I'm not mistaken. And one day his roommate came in and he had cleared the whole sheet.
Oh.
And just hung himself with his sheets from in the dorm room. Somehow he was able to hang himself. I imagine
he took all his Adderall.
Yeah, he took all the Adderall.
Yeah,
like almost a whole month dose. And because I used to be on Ritalin, I was on Ritalin for a while. I got accepted to a school at Juilliard, and my mom started recognizing my behavior was changing because I was taking 10 or 15 in the morning and 15 or 20 for lunch. So for breakfast, my mom would give me a pill, and before lunch at school, I would take Ritalin at the nurses, and then I would go eat. And yeah, man, it was fun because I would like take the pill out of my mouth and sell it to my friends.
They had people that used to do that with fucking what was it? It was that shit to get them off of heroin.
Well, Ritalin, I don't know if you can do it now, but back in the day, you could crush Ritalin into a powder. And there are certain pills now, when you crush it, it turns into a paste.
Yeah.
So you can't sniff it. So they kind of like fix a couple of those drugs.
Methadone. That's what it was.
Methadone, that's it.
Yeah, they used to take it, walk out, and then spit it back up and sell. They called them, what was it, wetbacks or something?
I would get a yellow.
I'm serious. Like that's
No, you are.
I would get a yellow pill and a white pill. And the yellow pill, I think, was 10 or 15 milligrams, and the white pill was 5 or 10. Yeah. And I would just like, as soon as I walked out, put that bitch in my pocket. And
and they'll be all nasty and shit, like they're half melted.
They didn't care.
Yeah, I get one of my medications, the capsule's wet, and it's like dissolved instantly. I'm like, man, there goes one of my things. Yeah.
Well, I took a quarter piece of Adderall, and I was like, fuck, dude. My heart was like,
yeah. Adderall does to me what like caffeine pills do. Like, because I take caffeine pills every once in a while.
But could you imagine taking a whole month's worth of Adderall?
That's crazy.
It's like taking 3 or 4 caffeine pills at once. It's like,
does time stop?
You're like Quicksilver. Time just says that you just all of a sudden you can see colors too.
It goes faster.
I can taste sound. Oh.
in 10th or 11th grade, my last class was English, and my buddy Adam, his buddies were, because he was Italian, his dad owns a pizza shop and all that, and of course, older Italians they're in. Well, that's what they did. They had acid. They did everything. And that bitch used to take acid.
Next, you gotta be saying he was in a mob or something. Like
No mob. It wasn't that high. It was just drug dealing, and out of a pizza shop in Virginia Beach,
knocking people off. Who knows what was in that pizza?
It was acid caps.
There you go.
This pepperoni tastes like people.
These are the right kind of mushrooms. Yeah.
Oh shit! What is a Hannibal Lecter in this bitch? Oh shit!
Yeah.
High school was fun, bro. High school was fun, man.
Yeah, I know we had a blast.
I was a short, fat nerd, so yeah, it really didn't matter to me. I was in the marching band. So yeah,
it was crazy, dude. Like in Mississippi, they actually had a smoking area for the high school students.
Did they?
Yeah,
I'm serious. Like
that's awesome.
Yeah. And a bunch of the students would empty their cigarettes and tobacco and put weed in it.
Well, yeah.
Bro, they got these little things. They're like they're yellow and the handle is orange. And you put the empty cigarette with the filter, and you put like the weed and the tobacco, and you like just take the lever and it'll shove everything right into the cigarette in like 1 fucking second. And then then dude would he would just shake out all the tobacco, and then he would just mix weed with all the tobacco, and he would just shove it one at a time.
That's awesome.
Bro. And he would sell them at school. And
they used to have these things called cigarette loads, right? And yeah, it came in a little tin about like that. It's little pieces. It was like these little white sticks, and when you smoke your cigarette, it causes your cigarette to explode.
Right.
Used to, like, you know how you'd have a Lucky cigarette, right? In your pack, and you'd have it through. Well, that's the one I would bum out.
Yeah, the one that was flipped, right? You would flip the one.
You'd flip the one.
So I've never smoked a cigarette a day in my life, and but these guys in Virginia, because it was Navy, it was all Navy, just a bunch of Navy brats, kids who were families of Navy people, and they didn't have the connect, so to speak. And our school was pretty heavy in Asians, and it was really funny. But I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, my brothers and sisters.
Jason's Asian.
No, my brother. Yeah, I am fully Asian.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell.
Blue-eyed Asian.
Yeah, blue-eyed Asian. No, my brothers and sister took care of all the drug stuff. I was more into alcohol back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I was into, because I never smoked.
I was never a big drug addict.
Yeah. But I grew up around it, and I knew all about everything. But I didn't even start drinking though until I was like 20. But when I did, did I hit it hard, man.
Yeah.
I like being drunk.
I started drinking when I was like 12 or 13.
That's what most people do. I was late to the game.
I don't know if you call it drinking. I started throwing up when I was.
I started throwing up when I was 12 or 13. Yeah, I definitely caught up, and I had a lot of fun, man. That's for sure. That's when I got out of comics, because I started doing that and discovering a lot of Strange and smashing. So yeah,
you know what? That's
good times.
You're right, because I was collecting comics all the way up until the point that I think I had my first beer.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
I stopped for a while because I was doing a teenage thing.
Yeah,
and then that got old very quickly, like within the first 3 to 4 years. And then I went and sought out another comic shop. You know what I'm saying? And it just started collecting and not telling any of my friends I was collecting comics.
I got into cars. I started spending all my money on cars.
Yeah, my dad's a mechanic, so I never got into cars.
It's cars, man. I don't have anything to show for it. I wish I did.
Yeah.
And it was a complete waste of my fucking money.
What, cars?
Yeah, bro. I bought so many turbocharged kits, supercharger kit. I would do the cone races where you would it would be like an airfield, and they would just set up cones, and you would race in between the cones. I had a supercharged S2000. I wasted so much fucking money. It was stupid.
Did you make any money off of that?
Fuck no.
Yeah, it's tough to make money off cars.
Did you get somebody's pink slip or?
Nope.
Did you get any poon at least?
It was a waste of. Yes.
There you go. There's a winner in every circle. Look at that.
I had a good time in Virginia Beach.
We have
Just lost a lot of money in cars.
we got something in the works for Rockabilly Road Trip. Like I don't want to say anything right now.
Yeah. Are you going to have the previous book in this campaign, as Jason was asking earlier? Like the
Rockabilly or Doc Salem?
Yeah, Rockabilly. Are you going to have the first one in there?
No, Rockabilly. I think we're going to take a break on Rockabilly for a second because there's a possibility it may be optioned for a movie, but not through Hollywood because Hollywood's kind of there's a bunch of production companies like doing off branches, like they're not going through Hollywood anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
The biggest thing Hollywood had going for them was that they controlled the theaters. So if you made a movie, you can make a movie, but you'd be condemned to stay within Sundance or something like that. Like you couldn't actually go to theaters and be like, I'm a market just to a theater, because you couldn't, you had to go through Paramount or something like that. And Paramount would have to it's this big fucking like Ponzi scheme.
Mm-hmm.
But because of streaming, because of Hollywood being so shitty and forcing a lot of production companies out because of their politics, and a lot of actors out because of their politics.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those people have went ahead and formed their own production studios and made their own movies with private investors.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you start
especially
doing
in
that,
Atlanta.
Exactly. And when you realize how much money it actually costs to make a movie and not Hollywood fucking accountant,
CG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's not millions, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not billions of dollars, hundreds of millions. No, it's not that. Like, yeah, it's probably a million or two, a few million, but it's not as much as they fucking.
Well, you remember the Toxic Avenger and all that stuff?
Oh yeah,
with all that, they used to do those films with less than $100,000.
Yeah, that was a bunch of,
and that stuff that you did with a Rockabilly Road Trip. If you can do that in 90 minutes or 80 minutes, bro. On the top,
that's what I'm saying. Like
budget
with Rockabilly Road Trip, like the intro that we made, that was over 2-3 days of filming. I think that was $10,000 to $15,000.
Right.
And that includes like the highest grade camera you can possibly get. And all of this like fucking professionals all the way. We got the chick from fucking what was it called? The Purge, to go ahead and star as Patches. You know what I mean? So it's possible to get actors and shit like that on board and not have to pay like hundreds of thousands of dollars to go ahead and get these guys in.
Yeah, man.
So it's possible. We're looking at it, and I don't want to say too much because it's kind of like insinuated that it's going to happen, but we're just waiting to see what happens. Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff on the docket right now
so Doc Salem, number 2.
Yeah, let's not talk about Doc Salem right now. We got to talk about this. Isn't the Doc Salem stream. This is a absolute stream.
Absolute number 2.
Absolute.
Yeah,
absolute.
I mean,
why absolute?
The way this happened actually was accidental. I drew a page because my brother's a writer. I drew a page and I was like, "Hey, man, you want to write something with this?" And he, after a while, was like, "Yeah, I can't. I don't know what to do." So I'm like, "All right, fine, screw it." And I liked the page, so I just kept going. And I draw and then I write it. So I draw it all and then I write it. So it kind of developed as it went. So the story just happened on happenstance. And it's just a basic alien invasion, really. But it's more or less about this one guy who gets thrust into this war that he didn't want or didn't ask for. He's a lone bounty hunter, just wanted to get the next score. He's going after the ultimate one, takes on this woman. And she's on a path to kind of take back the planet from these alien overlords. It's kind of like Star Wars. There's like a rebellion and against the evil empire, blah, blah, blah. But it's just about self-discovery because he's got to learn how to trust this woman because he's usually a lone wolf and doesn't trust anyone. She's got to learn how to open up and trust this guy that she's recently encountered. So, and this takes place after the first issue, a little bit after it, but it's the conclusion to the story arc of whether or not they're going to succeed in taking back the planet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So it's cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's I know my style is very, very stylized, very unconventional to say the least. I'm very heavily influenced by Sam Keith and Jonathan Wayshak, Bill Sienkiewicz, and stuff like that. David Mack even, but like there's an homage to the Max #1 that I did for a variant cover, which is like the only colored part in this whole comic. Aside from the trading cards, posters, and stickers, the book's black and white. Everything else is in color.
Damn, you sold the cover art. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So the Max cover art, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you to that person. So yeah, but this is a fun thing.
Somebody became infected. Two
people. With that, you get everybody gets a trading card of you. And I used to play Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. So on the back of the trading cards, will have your D&D stats and like a brief description of your power set with like your name and your description and stuff. So
nice.
I had that in the first campaign too. Some D&D cards. So yeah, so I'm gonna talk with these people. They're gonna come up with their powers, and we're gonna have to have some fun. So yeah, and there's some sketch cards. There's 13 sketch cards in one of the perks. You can get book 1 as an add-on or in a tier. So yeah, and then I'm working on the poster now for this one because the last one was the heroes. This one's the villains. So you can back that, and you can get the poster from the first campaign in an add-on as well. So yeah, I was trying to think of everything when it came to this, but I'm trying to make it still fun. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see the hero poster. There it is.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So you got the samurai priest, Danny, and then the old man. He's the old man because his name isn't revealed throughout the whole story. If you signed up for the first issue mailing list on the first one, you got a trading card with his name on it. So otherwise, his name isn't. You don't know his name. So yeah, and then this one's going to be the villains. His name is Carl. It's Carl Smith. Yeah, actually, it's not his name. His name is actually something very personal. But
is this the villain cover right here?
No, that's the villain poster. But that's the hero actually bursting through a lot of alien debris and stuff. So that's actually this cover. Because like I said, I do like that's this right here. So like it's the hero. He's bursting through and coming out of this alien monstrous goob that he's destroyed all these creatures. And yeah, so it's about 20% digital because like maybe like his outline and the bandage outline and stuff is all digital, but the cross hatching, the blood, the splatter, like even some of the detail in the bottom like is in there. So it's 80% traditional. So this is what's going to be in the book. So if you back the traditional page, you're going to get what's in the book. It's not digital. It's all actual pen and ink. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, and you get introduced to new villains in this book. That if you had the first one, you got the rat. You got another character I got to release the name of. So yeah, and it's gotten a lot of good responses. People like it. It's a fun story. There's no agenda behind it. It's just a fun little action sci-fi adventure with a little bit of magic thrown in. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's 46 pages, dude. That's good.
Well,
good
the second one, the second one is 46 to 60. I am not done with it.
Oh,
and I
okay.
don't know. Yeah. So
minimum.
Minimum 46, maximum 60, because I want to keep it staple bound. I'm a big fan of the staple bound books back in the day, and that's what I want. So, hey, Lord Crackhead.
He was looking in John Wayshak after you mentioned him to me the other day, and his shit is great. I can really tell he's a big influence on your work. That Metallica poster he did is sexually arousing.
I have one of the two. He did 2 Metallica posters. I have one of them, yeah. I don't really like Metallica, but I like Jonathan Wayshak, so I got
you got to go.
I like Metallica's early stuff.
Yeah, early.
Kill 'em all, Ride the Lightning. Those are good. Those are good.
Come on, you don't like Saint Anger?
No, I don't. No, I like their early stuff. If that's on, I listen to it. I like it, but I can't. After Black came out, I was like, yeah, I'm done.
Nah, Saint Anger was they were trying to be somebody they weren't. You know?
Yeah, that Napster shit killed it for me.
Yeah, that's what really was their downfall. But
which one?
That Napster bullshit they pulled.
Oh yeah.
And then they started doing the documentaries, which showed how like awkward they really fucking were. And you're like, all right, your music's not.
Well, I was listening.
You're not
to
who your music portrays you to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to Headfield on Rogan,
Right.
and he kind of made a point, but I like it's hard for me to sympathize with somebody that's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Or
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
multi-millionaire.
yeah.
And that's like the same thing when like Ben Affleck went on TV and he's like, you need to stop downloading movies. I was like, why? So you can like not afford another Ferrari? I was like,
Like the only reason why like I'm against it because I don't want somebody downloading my artwork and printing it. I want them to buy it from me. Like that's the only like kind of like yeah, I get
well,
it.
that's what I'm saying. Like instead of getting Ben Affleck on there, a
Get in-
multi-millionaire with all these prospects, get like a grip.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get the
Like
key
something
grip.
that's making that doesn't make anything, like make shit on a movie theater. I mean, on a
Exactly.
movie shoot, and then and actually those guys make a ton of money. But
Yeah, but if
it's
it's not for a movie though, they don't have a job. So yeah,
that's true. And
but yeah.
I was
Get the lower end guys that actually need work.
Yeah, I was like, and Metallica, I was like, you know what? Fuck these guys. I was like, dude, I was like, okay, I get it, you know, because I'll bitch about the same thing. But the problem is that I'm not a multi-millionaire. You know what I'm saying? But if there's a garage band and they're like, dude, buy our album so that we can eat, I'd be like, okay. I'm not gonna be like, no, I'm gonna steal it off of Napster.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
No, fuck
Yeah,
you
and
and your hamburgers.
I get your point there. Yes. Yeah, and I have nothing against artists, musicians, whatever they be, expanding and trying new things. But you got to accept that you might fail and be like, okay, well, we got to go back to what people liked.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what I think. I think the good thing with all of that is that, like, I remember back in the day, like you'd buy an album or tape, whatever, and one song would be good and the rest would be crap. You know what I'm saying? And you're stuck with it. That's it. That's all you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just put one good song on there, and then you realize like that was the only thing those guys had going for them. Like the rest of it is just garbage. And then, like, I think it forced musicians not to be lazy. You know what I'm saying? Like
they had to be good.
They had to be good. Like you couldn't just do a bunch of songs as filler on a B track. You know what I'm saying? Or you know, you can't lead with fucking, you know, Rod the Lightning and then put a bunch of fucking Saint Anger music on.
Well, you're saying that now. I feel like that's where we're at with music right now.
It is.
You got one good song.
It kind of is, but here's the thing:
shit.
like now they can create a song, but you don't have to buy the whole album.
Right.
You don't have to spend $20 on an album. You could just buy that one song for $1.
Yeah. And like, it's very rare you'll get an album that has every song is great. Like they're very few and far between, but at least a full album would have at least a lot of good songs, maybe one or two that you're like, I could do that.
Yeah. But you know what else was a silver lining to this is that I think it opened like musicians' eyes to like, they don't need record companies anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because I mean, what do they need them for now? You know what? They're going to distribute their music. You know what? Internet. Boom.
Yeah, dude. I got friends that actually they're really talented. They don't have a record company. Like they have their own. They do their own thing, but they're on Spotify. They're on iTunes. They're on all the things. They didn't need a major record company.
Right. I think the thing is too is like back in the day. I remember like for a CD, right? Like it cost like literally a penny to press a CD. You know? Yeah. And the cover art, all that kind of shit was like an extra 5 cents or whatever. And the band out of that $20 that you paid for that CD, right? Like the band got $1 off of each CD ridiculous. That was sold. And I'm like, or like $2, something like that. It was some crazy low number. And I'm like, that is such bullshit, dude. And now that the record companies can't capitalize on that, they're trying to dig into their touring money, you know? Because they never cared about their touring money before. It was like, anything you make on CD, that's ours. But anything you make while you're touring, hey, you know what? We'll give you that one. You can keep it.
Right.
And dude, like, and it's the same thing with comics. Like, I think with comics, like you could put the exact same philosophy to comics, right? Like, except replace digital with crowdfunded. You know what I'm saying? Like, and all of a sudden, you don't need a publisher anymore. You know?
Yeah, you're your own publisher. Yeah.
You can do it yourself. All you have
Yeah,
to do
but
is
I also want to point out, as a consumer, I am very picky.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And
So.
that's another thing too. Like I'm almost grateful to the mainstream that they destroyed themselves. You know?
Yes.
Like, because I was a
Yes.
huge Thor fan, and the problem
Yeah,
is that I'm also OCD. So if I collect Thor, I want to collect every issue,
Every
even bad
every
ones.
you
You know
even
what I'm
bad ones.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
But like when every issue is bad, you have the occasional
man.
good issue. Like I don't want that shit anymore. You
I'll
know
be
what I'm
honest
saying?
with you.
Like,
I had that problem with Spawn going into 300. And the only reason why I bought every issue of 300 and 301 is because of the prominence of the issue, because I missed out way back in the day with Amazing Spider-Man 300.
yeah.
And I wasn't going to miss out this time. So I got A and J at 9.8s, and I got a couple other issues that I ordered at 9.8s. So I made sure I didn't make that mistake because I was a youngin' back then. Wasn't going to do it now. So
Yeah, I
that's
got
kind of
quite a
like,
few of those.
it kind of translates that way. Like what I was saying about being picky about buying y'all's product. Not only did it happen during the Wu flu, but please continue to provide your previous issues into your next campaigns.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. In
Yeah,
fact,
man.
I don't see any problems with doing a
Yep.
second printing. You know,
Yeah. Yes.
I don't
Second
like
printing.
comicsology because it's unlimited print. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
you can. It doesn't matter.
So
like
there's
no
no first print.
collectability with
Right.
comicsology. It's like
Yes.
it's just fucking. You know, it's like you want an issue, pay for it, they'll print it and send it to you. I'm like, nah, well, that's not that's comics, but it's not collectible.
It's,
comics,
it's not.
you know?
It's comics, but it's not comics. Like this one,
it's-
I have some of the first printing of the first issue left. Once they're gone, I got to reprint. I mean, I'll do something different, but it's going to be a second printing. It's not going to be the first one. Like you could easily just make a first printing or whatever.
To me, I see the printing stopping when the campaign stops.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Once the
I like
campaign's
that.
over with, then
First print.
yeah, if you run another campaign and if you don't have any of those issues left over, then you have to go to a second printing.
Second printing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you order, like, is it okay to order like 500 books? Is that like the minimum in some printing places, or is 250?
I went through Mixum, and you could order one book if you wanted to. And so that's like your print proof.
Yeah, but you're gonna pay like $20.
Yeah, you got to pay a bunch. So you can order any number you want, but most people do like 500 or whatever. Obviously, my first campaign, I didn't do 500 because I didn't have 500 backers. There's really no point. So you want to still make a profit, but still have some left over. So you kind of got to gauge it. And so you do plan a little. Some people do plan a little bit. I think Malin like prints pretty only so many, then he like burns them or something. That's what he does. I don't know. That's his motif, man. But I'd rather sell the first print.
Dude, to go ahead and just burn books.
Yeah,
I'd rather burn $30,000.
He doesn't. Yeah,
you're not gonna buy these. Well, poof.
That's Malin. I don't know, man. But yeah, I wanted people at least be able to get the first print. Yeah, that's dumb. You're dumb.
Fuck you. You're dumb.
But yeah, so the ones in my campaign right now are first printings because I overprinted. So
that's awesome,
not by
man.
much, but yeah. So once they're gone, though, it's second printing, or if I don't know, we'll see what happens. It'll be second printing probably if people want them. But this is the end of this story arc. So once this campaign ends, actually, that's it. I'm not. I maybe might do a collection volume that like have ink spots color it like later on down the year, because I think he would do a great job if he did like some watercolors over this.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you because you're in a flow, but does the size of the amount of pages that you made so far, does it amount to a trade paperback page count?
Yeah. If anything, it would still be like I'd have the trade paperback, and like I said, I would do something special like color.
It's like 4 complete issues.
It's like 4 to 6.
Somewhere in there. Yeah. And like I said, the reason why I mentioned ink spots is because I love he can do a lot of different styles. So I think he could do a great watercolor style, even if it's digitally. And I would like, this is like further down the road thinking. Somebody had mentioned it to me though, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So it's like a little something special, because I do have other books planned. My brother has a book planned. So yeah, but as far as this one, you could collect them all, and release them in one. But after this campaign is done, I'm not going to do a second printing of book 2. I'll have some left over, probably, maybe. I kind of want to print to order on this one, the second book.
Mixum's a good place.
I do Mixum
for the Doc Salem. Like I was talking to Anthony Figueroa, and Anthony convinced me. He was like, "Nah, dude, you should have went through Mixum."
Vinny convinced me about Mixum.
Right.
Preston, did you pay extra to get that heightened line art impression on the cover?
You talking about the blacks?
Is that what it was?
No, I don't know what it is. Like every time I order from those guys, the blacks seem to, you can touch
they're
it.
like,
it's almost
they're
like
my tattoo on my arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I know, right? I was like
the blacks are
and everybody thinks
off.
like it. Yeah, they think it's like it's intentional. I'm like, no, it's not. I like it.
Mixum?
Mixum.
No, I don't think that's Mixum.
No, I use Greco to go.
Greco.
With
I looked at
print. I like the print a lot.
I looked into Greco, but I heard a lot of things about Mixum.
The one I can't stand is Kablam. Kablam has the worst print. Not
dude, I looked at that for like a minute. That was it. I'm like, I'm not using these guys.
I got something I want to get printed by Kablam only because I know if I get it printed by him, I'm not going to pay a lot of money to get one issue. So I'm like, all right, but this is only for my personal collection.
Exactly. If anyone's a creator out there, they're planning on doing anything heavy, I recommend Mixum. I know Art T. Bear had like an issue, but that was everybody else I know has had nothing but good results. So like, and even
with art, was it just an error with art? What happened with art?
It was a coloring issue. Like the colors were off or something, and he kept trying to get them fixed. And eventually, they were like, we're done. We did what we did. There's nothing we're gonna do anymore. And he just made. And I understand that would make him mad. So he's like going through someone else, I think. But,
I know a lot of artists that are very picky when it comes to color. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not like lemon yellow is lemon yellow. Like, no, it's got to be the specific lemon yellow.
Right. Yeah. From what, even Eric Canetti said he's very picky. Eric Canetti's on no, me neither.
Red's red, dude. Like,
red's red. Like I have like watercolors, like it says crimson and red. I'm like, what? I don't know, man. I'll dilute the crimson and it looks like the red. I don't understand what's the point.
Well, my buddy, one of my friends, this guy Alan, like he used to do all the promo art for the Misfits back in the day, like the posters, t-shirts, and all that shit. Now he does mostly he does work for Skinny Puppy. He's fucking anal when it comes to color, right? And he stopped farming his posters out, like he does them himself. Because he gets to pick the colors, he's like, no, that's the color I want and that's the color I'm gonna use, and he still does screen printed posters out of his garage, and he
that's cool,
does all that shit.
That's awesome though.
And I've got a couple, I just haven't had them framed yet. I got one, it's hanging up somewhere, it's right here, my Rob Zombie poster.
Nice.
And you can see that right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, let me zoom in.
Oh yeah.
But actually, let's see here.
My arms are so short I can't reach the camera.
Can I give you a hand?
Somebody.
No, but he I got a few posters from him. Like I'm a huge Misfits fan, so I got
out of whiskey.
Like
Uh-oh.
But yeah, he's not the only one. Like I know a few artists that are like that. Like it's all preference. Like if you want what you want to.
Yeah. Well, that's one reason why I like doing the book by myself. I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm doing, and I get it my way. Well,
after working with a bad colorist, I'm fucking. I don't know if I want to work with another colorist. You know what I'm saying? Because
right.
And even I know good colors too. Like I know good colors, and they're affordable and stuff like that. But I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, do I take that chance? It's like gambling, Like,
yeah, exactly. Especially if you could do it yourself. So like the next project I do is with my brother. I want to do a lot of watercolors, but I want to do it myself because I can do it. There's no point in outsourcing it and paying someone else to do it when I could just do it. And I get
no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But like. The problem I'm running into with the colors thing is that when you get on when you do these long projects, like, you know, like over 40 pages, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Like, I know personally it's my project, and I design the story so that I don't get bored, you know,
Right.
going through it. So it's not like, oh, I got to do this scene. All right. It's like everything's fucking exciting, right? It's like next action, he's going to slam his head, you know, and fucking rip up.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have the fucking investigators come in from the supernatural services. And we're going to have this demon come out, you know, all this kind of crap. So it's like, if you read Doc Salem's constant action, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
there's very few moments where it's like, oh, well, now we're going to have downtime.
Yeah.
Like, but the problem is that when you hire somebody to do colors, they don't have the same enthusiasm towards that book as you do, right? So
Right.
they start out like, fucking, this is a job, I got to get it done. Then towards the middle are like, I'm still working on this motherfucker. Towards the end, they're like, let me just get this fucker over with, you know? And that was my experience with my last colors. Like, the first couple of pages, fantastic. Midway through, we've changed the monster 4 different times at this point, you know, like, there's no consistency.
Oh no.
And I'm bitching, I'm complaining, I'm like, you motherfucker. I'm not cursing at this point, but at the end I'm like, you don't get a bonus unless you fix this shit.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah. The
and,
incentive's there if they're going to get a bonus.
and at that point I'm so stressed out, I'm just like, fucking, you know what, I'm not using a colorist anymore, I'll do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier in the long run sometimes. It really is. Granted, I'll give it time consuming, yes, but
Yeah,
you at least get what you want.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Are you going to use the same colorist for Doc Salem #2?
Nope. That's the guy I'm talking about. Like, that guy fucking,
Nice.
he fucked me on that one, dude.
All right, fair enough.
Like, if you
Are you
notice,
gonna-
those first 10 pages are great.
Well, are you possibly one day going to redo
think
the
I'm
colors
painting.
for the first one?
Huh?
You going to redo the colors for the first one?
I don't know. I don't like changing stuff like that. Like,
Right, I
because,
understand.
Then it's a second printing on top of that.
no, it's not really that. I like it. Like, if
Changing
that's the
the
way it was
first.
created.
Yeah.
Okay, but if there's ever a day when I'm like, you know, if there's a need to go ahead and reproduce it and kind of like modern it up or whatever, yeah, then I'll get a new colorist or whatever, or I'll just hire a painter to do it. That way I can do other shit.
Yeah.
But because these are self-contained, like the first Doc Salem issue was self-contained. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can read the whole story and get a full story out of it, but there's also a backup story. So you can go ahead and you can, like, you have something to look forward to, right?
Right.
The second book is going to be almost a whole new story, right? With the subplot still playing through, you know? So it's not like there's this drastic change from one story arc to another, you know, I'm within the same story arc. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
this is going to be almost a separate story arc with a subplot going through, with the same subplot going through it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like how comics were, pretty much.
yeah, well, you know, so it's almost like two different graphic graphic novels, you know.
Bald
In
Man
fact,
#2 has arrived.
with this next book, I kind of liked like doing a main story and then having different like other stories in there, like the like the Ballad of Gary the Hell Knight. And also the crossover, you know, intro that we had in it, the prelude to the crossover.
Mhm.
And then I also had the short by Lit Devil. I kind of want to expand upon that. I'm even thinking about doing maybe a parody, doing like Duck Salem, you know, as like a short story within Doc Salem, and then doing like Doc Salem Tales within the same book, right? And it's actually classic horror stories retold with Doc Salem narrating it, you know?
Right.
And and like if I can pull this off, I mean, I might be looking at maybe 125 pages for the next book, you know? So it's going to be insane. But I'm not planning on doing the whole book by myself. I'm planning on doing the main story, which would be the first like 52, 56 pages or more, and then going ahead and hiring somebody to do the duck sell them, and then of course like I'll do the next couple of pages like leading up to the like the Doc Salem Tales, you know. But the Doc Salem Tales are basically going to be reprinted horror stories back from the old EC days and stuff like that, you know, because a lot of that stuff's still public domain. It just like crowbar Doc Salem in there as like the narrator instead of like a crypt keeper or something like that. Yeah. And because I think people forget about those. Like those stories are fucking so influential, dude. And the artwork in those stories blew anything that was going on in comics during that period. You know, and I'm not just talking about EC. I mean, I don't know if EC is public domain, but I know like the old Ziff Davis and shit like that is public domain. You know, and they had some horrific. This is pre-code shit, dude. So they had some horrific shit going on.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. What's up? Yeah, really. What else happened, Brian? Tell us.
Brian,
everybody can hear Brian, right?
I can hear you, Brian.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Nobody can hear you, dude.
You son of a bitch.
Nope.
Don't make me throw you in the desert like Clint Eastwood behind me here. I forget this movie already. Do y'all remember this movie? What was it again? Clint Eastwood?
Killed him in the desert.
Can't hear you, Brian.
In the desert.
Horse with no name. Yeah, we can't hear you.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. That's what it was.
Yeah, dude.
That was a good one. I like Hang 'em High.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Dude, I'm a big High Plains Drifter fan.
Oh, that was good one too.
Yeah, I like High Plains Drifter. Nope. There's something wrong with his audio.
The old ones are hard to watch now because they're dumb. But sometimes you can't get the message and you can watch them through and through. Go ahead.
I was never a Dirty Harry fan. Like I was
they're hard to watch, man.
I just can't do Dirty Harry. I mean, he had a couple of good lines in there, but
yeah.
Nope.
Brian, you son of a bitch.
Brian, you don't have any audio.
Go to your microphone settings and switch it to your headset or something. Or there's like only 2 things you can do to get your mic right.
Yeah, I had this trouble actually with Wise Guys one time, or he couldn't hear me, I couldn't hear him, but the chat could hear us both. So
you'll have glitches. I agree.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking when it happens. It's like, come on, it's not the moment, you know. It's like just
check your settings. Your settings might be bad, Brian.
Yeah, man.
Check them.
Get out. Can you hear us? Do this if you can hear us.
You can hear us, right? You can't hear us?
Do the thumbs up. Thumbs up if you can hear us.
Okay. Oh, okay. There we go. All right.
What the hell? There's like literally microphone settings, your headset on StreamYard.
Jason's also here to promote something else too.
Okay.
The art auction. Yeah. The art auction, which is happening this Saturday. There's 4 time slots for it. They run 2 hours every 2 hours, starting at 8 a.m. So 8 from 10, 12 to 2, so on and so forth. We're going to have a lot of great artists on it. Our good man Preston over here is going to be on it. We also are going to have like Vinny Tartamelli. We got Chubb, Carl Stefan. We got Russ Leach.
Nourish Boys is going to be there?
Yeah, dude. He's going to be in the AM slot. Brian, you're going to be there? Are you shaking your head yes? No. Yeah, Brian's going to be there.
Can you come into the
there you
show?
Go. See, yeah. So Brian's going to be there. Russ Leach is going to be there.
Russ is going to be there too.
Dude, Russ has got some great pieces that he's got. It's going to be on Red Valkyrie.
Nice.
All the times are Eastern Standard U.S. So nice. It's going to be fun. We got a lot of great creative people. Maxworks, who's in the chat, he's going to be in there. I can't list how many people we got. We got like 30-something people. It's crazy. It's nothing but overwhelming. Yeah, it's all for the fans because this is like just some great artwork to get in their hands, and so that way they can own some OG stuff that doesn't cost them like $5,000.
Those pieces off of the
don't get me wrong. I would love to give somebody like a page from the book. You know, that'd be great, but obviously you can't sell everything that you want to sell at a lower price. So you put work into it.
I got a bunch of fan art I'm just going to put up.
Yeah, I got fan art.
Shazam.
I got like
Son of
doodles that I've
Satan shit.
done on live streams. Like I show this Batman one all the time. Here's a Sam Keith one. I didn't do it on live stream, but like here's a Max one. That
that's
I did.
good. Yeah, I like that one. That's
Thanks,
badass.
man. Yeah. So it's like my sloppy style. But yeah, just sketches or fine detailed stuff. It all depends on the artist. Depends on how much they want to set and stuff like that. So it'll be a good time. Everyone tune in this Saturday, Red Valkyrie.
And you're going to strip doing this podcast, is that right? During the auction?
J Money, yeah, he's planned to do a dance.
Is this going to be a flesh auction as well?
I need at least $200 an hour.
Wolverine will be there shirtless, so yes, it will be a flesh auction.
Coming in with a hat and a thong.
Yeah, Wolverine will be there, so it will be. There will be flesh to be had.
He's not going to have a shirt on either.
He will not have a shirt on.
I heard Hex Allen's going to sell his song.
Hex Allen's going to slap
with that shiny ass head.
Yep,
Hex needs to come on without a shirt.
He's going to slap his beef down. Yeah.
What? That's terrible.
Sim's going to be there with just a bow tie.
There you go. That's right. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, we got a lot of great talent.
Your mic.
He's going to come into his theme song is going to be "It's Raining Men."
YMCA, that's what I'm saying. YMCA.
Yeah, and then if anyone's watching, but if anyone's watching the replay or now and you want to be in it, there's still time. Hit me or Shay up, and hit us on DMs on Twitter. We'll get back to you.
So, is this your first one that y'all are doing?
Yes,
Nice,
we want to do 2 a year, not 4, because they can get people want to back books and all that stuff. So if we do like 2 a year, these low end type things that people sketch all the time, why not? I think it'll be good. So yeah, this is the first one.
I don't keep a sketchbook. Like
I don't either.
I'm doing pre-sketches and stuff like that. I do it on typing paper and immediately throw it away once I'm.
No, I keep it.
I'm trying to keep all of my pre-sketches now, my character sketches and shit like
your
that.
Your pencils, you mean? Is that what you're saying? Your pencils and all?
Yeah, like
I'm trying to find a piece that I did on Vinny's channel. I was testing out a paper and doing one. That's so much crap. But here's a quick Batman I did on a 12 by 12 paper.
Yeah, here's some non-devil sketches. For the new non-devil series. Usually these are on typing paper because I'm not really like married to any of it. So
yeah, but that's fine. It doesn't matter the medium. I don't think it's still artwork that somebody can hang up.
Like bikes and fucking characters and all that shit. And then usually I toss them.
No, Dad, never
right after scanning them in.
Never
I'm like,
do that.
all right, that's good. Yeah.
Don't do
never
that.
Toss them. Like this is I did this on I was testing out this paper and this is something I did on Vinny's channel.
That's cool. I like that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, this is this little sketch I'll put in there, but just
watercolor.
Watercolor and pen and ink. So yeah,
you should do that in your book.
Like I said, the next book that I do with my brother, I'm gonna try to do stuff like this.
How long does it take you to do stuff like that? Like
this one only took quick. like maybe an hour and a half, I would say.
Yeah, he's done some streams live where Jason's quick as shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you could duplicate that in your book
while talking. Like,
as long as I'm not hosting, yeah, I can usually pull it off.
He's quick, man. To be honest,
thanks, man. Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff though that I'm talking about. I never throw anything away really, unless it's total garbage. Then I just rip it up for no one to see. But but
well, sometimes I include the like if I do a pre-sketch, like something like just a wireframe or something like that leads to like something like this, right? That leads to a cover or a print. I'll usually stick it in there with the original sketch and just set it off with the art.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I don't know if you ever heard of Derek Hess. He's an artist and illustrator. A lot of his stuff is like the wireframe, real loose stuff, and it goes for insane amounts of money. And it's just because it's beautiful though. It's got motion, it's got intensity. Like he does work for bands, and like he's been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So he's a big known artist. And
that's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude. And he's actually an influence that doesn't really show through that much anymore. But That's the kind of stuff I like. I like that sketchy stuff that you just showed. I love blueprints of characters. I love underdrawings. That's the stuff, because that's the nitty gritty. That's what the artist's thinking while they were doing stuff. So that's like the birth. That's the afterbirth. That's beautiful, man.
I'm almost like, after working on 3 nights and doing some other stuff, like I'm pretty sold on not inking work anymore. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because
straight from pencils to paint.
Yeah, well, just even pencils to digital art. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen how it works, and I'm like, I think I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the texture, the pencil texture. I like creating all the different patterns and shit you can do with a pencil. Like, I mean, like the only reason you ever used ink was because of production purposes. Like, and that's old school production. Like, so that it can go to the printer can shoot it with a stat camera and fucking, it can be separated by separators. And for some odd reason, that just carried over into modern comics, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
And like, you don't need to do that. Like, you can just go ahead and do, like, Bisley fucking, I got books where Bisley used fucking charcoal and did the whole, every panel in charcoal and just fucking let the colors go ahead and color off of that, dude. Yeah. And it looks fucking phenomenal, like his Tower series, like the Tower series is all charcoal on,
Was he on drugs back then?
That's awesome.
Bisley's always on drugs.
I was gonna say, when is he not?
Nah, I think he's more of an alcoholic, to be quite honest.
Well, still a drug in a way.
After seeing him at a show, he's pretty much an alcoholic.
Yeah. But no, I agree. No, but like I said, I print out like my thing, and then I ink them traditionally, just because there's really no point in. I eliminate a step. I don't see the reason in doing a lot of the stuff that used to be done. You don't need to anymore.
Well, me neither. That's what I'm saying. Like, honestly, you could probably, like, there's really no limit. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, there's no
this is
limit.
indie comics.
What I was going to say is you two are a step above and beyond. Back in the day, people were raised to do pencils, ink, and then color. It's a new paradigm, man. Like the whole what you guys are doing is unparalleled to before, and I think that's not to be a dumbass white guy, but I think that's pretty cool, man.
Thanks.
No, yeah, well, like I was talking to Anthony, and Anthony was right. It was like the only reason you want to do inks and pencils and all that shit is because you're trained to do it that way. Exactly. You're programmed to do it that way.
Exactly.
That's why I love David.
Whole new thing.
Like, look at David Mack's stuff. A lot of it is mainly like pencil, and then he'll just watercolor.
Well, yeah, but then, like, if you look at any heavy metal book ever, like from story to story to story, it's all different styles. You know what I'm saying? It's not all pen and ink. Like there's stuff in there. Like if you look at Arthur Sweetum's work, he just watercolors, dude. He'll do like pencils with shading and stuff like that, and do a little ink wash and then watercolor the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I talked to Arthur, and Arthur told me, he said I asked him, I said, why didn't you go to Marvel and do work for Marvel? Why heavy metal? And he said, Marvel wouldn't let me paint because of the printing process they had at the time, because you're looking at 70s, early 80s work. And he's like, yeah, he said they just didn't have it at the time. Like they weren't doing magazine paper. They were still doing newsprint. He was like, but heavy metal was like, do whatever you want. We'll print whatever you do. Just fucking do it. So yeah, dude. I loved Marvel Comics when I was growing up, but I was a big heavy metal fan, and I think that's why I don't know. Maybe I just never fit in with fucking,
because you two are a step above Marvel in terms of your artistic ability. Like Jason would never be hired because of his style, and Preston, you would never be hired because of your style. And thank fucking God we don't have to deal with that anymore.
But,
And because we're a bunch of smart asses.
That there's nothing to do with it. I've always liked the indie books more. Yeah, man. I like Marvel. Like I said, Thor was my first book and stuff like that. I grew up on Thor pretty much. I love Marvel, but I love the indie stuff. I love the grittiness. I love just the different textures and styles that you got to see come through that the mainstream wouldn't allow. So, and different content too. You got adult content and stuff.
Well,
but
I don't know about didn't allow because they had like they kept dipping their toe. Marvel kept dipping their toe
a little
into
bit.
it.
Like you got Keith or Mark Texeria, you got Sam Keith, you got some.
No, I'm talking about with their Epic imprint. The
Epic,
Marvel
yeah,
and also what else was it? It was they had a Marvel. They were trying to compete with heavy metal for a while.
Yeah, it did.
What was that called? It was called
there was a
Epic magazine. Was that it?
Epic? No, I know it was Epic Comics, but there wasn't an Epic magazine.
Wasn't there? Well, there was Marvel Fanfare.
No, there was something where like the first appearance of Dreadstar, and there was the last Galactus story was printed in it too. It was I can't remember the name of it, dude. Like I got it here, like because I'm a big Dreadstar fan.
So it was Epic Comics. So Dreadstar was Epic Comics was
Epic was like Dreadstar had a 1 through 4, but they had a magazine that Marvel put out for a while.
So
yeah, I don't know if it was Epic. Was it Epic?
I don't know. Frege showed something from Epic on his.
Yeah, there's an Epic magazine. It's Epic magazine. Marvel magazine. That's what it's called. A Marvel magazine, Epic Illustrated.
Epic Illustrated.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's what he showed. Actually, I think.
So, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. So they tried to compete with Marvel with
They did a good
with heavy metal, but they couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because
well, didn't this take place during their financial troubles during the 80s and the early 90s when they were fucking?
I don't remember.
No, that kind of stuff had to take place way earlier because I don't remember it that well, and I started in the late '80s, early '90s. So, but yeah, I mean, and they might have, but it wasn't accepted because it didn't work. So, because Marvel already had that established style of a comic style.
Well, Marvel used to dip their toe into a lot of different things because they actually had like a horror magazine at one time.
Yeah, they had horror
painted versions of Morbius the Vampire, the living vampire.
Oh yeah,
they had
those were cool. Yeah,
Conan magazine, like
Conan was
Conan. Yeah,
that's what started me. So, Epic Illustrated was a comic anthology in magazine format published in the United States by Marvel Comics, similar to the U.S. licensed comic book magazine Heavy Metal. It allowed explicit content to be featured, unlike the traditional American comic books of that time, bound to the restrictive comic book code authority, as well as offering its writers an artistic ownership rights and royalties. It placed an industry standard work for hire. The series lasted only 34 fucking issues from 80 to 86.
Yeah.
And it didn't get color until 82.
I kind of like that it was black and white. You know what I'm saying? Like they had some really cool shit in there.
I don't have anything.
But I might have a couple of those.
The Savage Sword of Conan, like that shit was badass too, dude.
Yeah.
Like
dude.
They pushed the limit on that too. Like they were doing like grayscale, like fucking painted, wash panels and shit like that. It was like a break away from doing standard separations.
I like the way they do their logo. I really like that.
That sticks out.
I totally want to steal that with mine.
Yeah, that's one thing that I learned was you want to have a logo that definitely, if you look at from the back of a comic store, you'd be able to see it, no problem. And that was one of my goals.
Little black notebook.
That's a key thing because you want to be able to be legible and to have it be stand out.
I haven't thought about Epic Illustrated since dude, I don't even know.
I know, dude. Look at some of the covers.
My brother might have some of these, like in one of these long boxes that I have. So I'd have to dig through, but it looks very, very familiar.
Hell, even Frazetta put out a heavy metal type of magazine at some point.
It was Frazetta Illustrated, wasn't it?
So it only had 34 issues and it lasted 6 years. So what is that?
It's like
that's fucking trash. How could you?
Well, I think for the Frazetta one, I think was
5 issues a year.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that was a cool book, though. That was a cool.
Yeah, so it's 6 issues a year, and I imagine on the last year it probably got canceled.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, and that's the thing; wasn't received well. Everybody, like people who collect comics like that, though, they're used to going to the grocery store and like picking up, comics. You're picking up Spider-Man, so when you see something like that, you're like, "Whoa, that is a little weird."
You know what they probably should have did was like. if they were going to do Epic Magazine, they probably shouldn't have used John Byrne or anybody like that. They should have probably maybe if they were gonna really dip their toe into like that heavy metal type of genre, they probably should have went with like some really underground artists. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's what I view that kind of stuff as anyway. The underground, scene.
Was Boris and Julie doing big stuff at that time, or were they underground at that?
I was never a huge Boris and Julie fan because their stuff looked way too
more modern.
Well, like, it looked too much like it. They were just painting over photos.
Well, to be honest with you, I felt like that's what they did because they would use models.
Oh no, they said that. They said that.
Yeah, yeah, that's totally true.
They just projected the.
I'm gonna copy,
but
that's cheap.
Corbin, they could have got Corbin to do something for Epic, or some of those guys, but not Bisley.
I always like Larry Elmore. I know he was mainly a book cover artist, but I like Larry Elmore's stuff. He's really good.
Yeah. Like DC wasn't even thinking about doing magazines. They were just like, put Bisley on Lobo.
Yeah, dude. Wise decision.
And that was it. That was heavy metal right there.
That was smart, though. I'll tell you that.
Those first 4 issues of Lobo, dude, that was fucking insane, dude. I was like, Jesus Christ.
The OG
I've never seen anything like that. Yeah, the OG one. I was like, motherfucker, dude, what is this?
Yeah, dude, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, I was like, this is crazy stuff.
Fucking space dolphins, penguins, and a pit bull. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I'm in for this ride. Let's do it.
I didn't find out about Lobo until Judge Dredd. Who did the early Judge Dredd used to print with?
2000 AD was Judge Dredd.
Are you talking about Judge Dredd versus Batman? Or?
Well, no. It was almost all their covers were matte. And that's the same time I found out about Lobo.
The early Judge Dredd stuff, like Judge Dredd showed up in 2000 AD #2, I think it was. But all of that stuff, like there was no cover to it. It was like basically a newspaper.
Yeah, it was. Yes, that's man.
Like I thought about getting a hold of that. Like the first appearance of Judge
Have you ever smelt them?
$800, right?
Have you ever held them or smelt them?
No, I never. But I just can't. I can't part with that type of money on something that's basically just a newspaper. Like there's no cover to it. It's just
If I'm parting with that, I'm getting a statue or something.
I don't know, man.
At that point.
I had a friend of mine.
He had Slain. I was like, maybe I should. And I was like, fuck, I don't know if I can buy those early 2000 ADs. Those early 2000 ADs was so shitty, dude.
They were.
You can get them in a collection.
But they smell so good.
Yeah, they do. They smell like old paper.
Oh, and the cover was matte. I know I already said that 3 times over, but the OG Judge Dredd. Who was the other one? So 2000 AD at the time, you had Judge Dredd that was coming out. Who was the other ones that came out with Judge Dredd from 2000 AD?
There was Slain. Slain came out. Dude, there was a ton of shit that came out. Dude, I was watching a 2000 AD documentary.
Really?
I was blown away. Like that thing comes out with a heavy metal soundtrack. Like,
yes.
Fuck, dude. Like I had to turn the speakers down on my TV because I didn't expect it to hit like that hard. I was like,
the old school. I'm telling you, the old school 2000 AD is intense.
Dude, it was crazy.
And everything smells so good. I know I've said that like 5 times now.
Brian's in the chat. We can hear you now, Brian. We can hear you
now.
I can hear you now, Brian.
Yeah, no, dude, I'll pull out a random comic book and like do a YouTube video, and sometimes it's an oldie, and I'm like, oh, that smells so good.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I like behind me is all classic comics. Like I got like old Comico shit with Grendel, and Nexus, all that kind of stuff, and fucking I got the complete Nexus series because I was a huge Nexus fan because like Steve Rude, what I didn't know was I was like, Steve Rude is so original, but he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like he was copying styles that were put in the 50s. You know, see where I'm going with that? Like, when I discovered Ziff Davis, I was like, these guys are like it's like a bunch of Steve Rudes doing comics. You know, I was like, and I got it's Crusaders from Mars, right? From Ziff Davis. And it's written by one of the creators of Superman, the guy who wrote Superman. I can't remember his name, but it's like after DC screwed him over, got like hustled them out of their rights to Superman, like they were looking for work. So one of them went to Ziff Davis and started writing comics, and he wrote like one of the Crusaders from Mars books, and so I got it, and when I seen the artwork on the inside, I was completely blown away, dude. I was like, this is fucking insane. And but Rude, yeah, that's the main reason I started collecting like old Nexus books. But Ziff Davis opened my eyes to like not everything from the early comic books were like shitty. I mean, if you look at the first issue of Superman, that's the worst drawn issue I've ever seen before.
Yeah,
that's besides Batman.
I want to interrupt.
Let's be real.
I feel like a complete retard. It was the 2000 AD comic book, so it was the 2000 AD book. Do you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. That's where I first learned about Judge Dredd. It was a 2000. Comic? It was 2000 AD. The book, like that's what it
not
was
the comic.
Yeah, 2000 AD. Right?
I'm so confused.
Yeah, the book. So from 2000 AD print, they actually had a comic book called 2000 AD.
They had a trade called 2000.
No, they had annuals. They had issues.
No, I remember like 2000 AD started out as a comic though. Like it was just like the way the UK put together a comic was like no cover. It was just it had a cover, but the cover was printed on the same newsprint that the inside was printed on. Yeah. And it was an odd size too. It was like 12 by 12 or 11 by 11 or
they were like magazines, but awkward magazines.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
And they don't hold up well at all, dude. Like they're terrible.
This is the Dan Plago trading card in my campaign.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah. Boob Dan Art.
He's I know who that is. I think he's the boob guy, right?
Yeah, he does. But that's the thing I tell everybody. Yeah, he's the boob guy. But look at this face and the hair and stuff.
I know. It reminds me of him.
He's good.
Yeah. You remember a movie called Rock and Roll?
I know the title. I don't think I've seen it.
That's what that face reminds me of. It reminds me of the villain from Rock and Roll.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He nailed this villain perfectly. Like the villain in the book, this is her, and she's got like this man-hating attitude, and she's evil and vindictive. He just nailed it, man. I was so happy when I saw him ink this. Yeah,
so he does some good work. I like.
Yeah, dude, he's a talent, and everybody should sign up for Goblin Girl if you haven't. So, yeah,
I need to check that out. Goblin Girl, is that live?
No, it's it's in pre-launch right now. But
I think I signed up for that. Yeah.
It was these books. You guys remember this shit here? The 2000 AD books?
Do not remember these.
Yeah, it was these.
Wait a minute. I think I had one of these. A couple of them.
Yeah. They were 60, 70, 80, 100 pages.
Oh, wow. Oh, so these are all hardcovers.
Yeah, well, what I'm showing you is
it says on it.
But what I read when I read 2000 AD, they weren't hardcovers. But when I was Googling, clearly this is the link that I clicked.
So these are all trades, like
these are trades.
Yeah. So these are great. If you guys are into OG books, just I
think I want to try those out. I want to get a hold of a couple.
Yeah.
I don't think we can hear Brian.
Brian?
Yeah,
we can hear him.
Oh, thank goodness.
Should have played that out a little bit.
But anyway, this is what I was talking about earlier was 2000 AD.
I'm going to have to check this. Oh, it's the annual hardcovers.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and they have issues too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying in the chat, the way that Judge Dredd first and 2000 AD comics in general, the way that those came to the US was, for people that don't know what 2000 AD what the format was, it was sort of like Weekly Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
Which is to say, you'd only get maybe like 10 or 15 pages of a story. And so what they would do was they would take like half of a Judge Dredd story and then the other half, and they would slap them together and they would put them in an issue of Judge Dredd.
So it was like heavy metal. So you would read 4 or 5 heavy metals to get like a 22 to 30 page story.
Yeah.
And you would,
that's the way the original 2080s
And
were.
I'm telling you, it's a great book. A great bunch of books. Great
oh
bunch
man,
of books.
fantastic! I always say like the things that did it for me was like the revolutions were when I first came across Head Shop Comics, Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, Weirdo, and Zap. Then of course Heavy
I got
Metal,
those.
and then 2000 AD.
Yeah. I don't have any of the original 2080s, like the
I don't
original
either.
UK prints.
I don't-
Every time I decide, like, you can buy them, like they sell lots of them on eBay. You know, you can get a lot. Right now, I think I'm trying to get a hold of like I'm starting to get to the point where I just want to collect artists and writers, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not into collecting like expensive books anymore because I got a bunch of them, you know, and I don't want to. It's not that I don't want expensive books. It's just I don't really care you know, like, if they're expensive or not.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to like Neil Adams. I'm a huge Neil Adams fan, you know, and I like Neil Adams as a person too, like as far as an artist and his personality, even though he's a prick. But he's not a prick because he's a prick because he's like, oh, fuck you, I hate you, or anything like that. He's a prick because he's like, he's just a hard guy because that's how he came into the business, you know. But like his company continuity, yeah. His like he pumped out a lot of great titles, dude. Like Megalith, you know, Armor, stuff like that. And I think I want to get I think I'm gonna get a hold of some of those, you know, because you know Mark Textra actually got his Texiera, you know, got his first his break with you know continuity comics, and he worked on the second run of Megalith, you know, and it's because his style was really close to Neil Adams at the time, and but some of that stuff, dude, is like really high end for its time. I mean, you start looking at Neil Adams' work, like his early work with Batman and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you can like the way he set up his panels and how he broke the borders and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's early Image.
Yeah, that's very early. Yeah,
absolutely. And remember, Adams was a guy who, when Marvel told him, like, dude, you could draw anything you want, any book you ask for, it's yours. And he was like, I'll take X-Men. That's back when like nobody was reading X-Men because he wanted to develop his skills and his talent in the dark. You know what I mean? Where nobody was looking. And one of the other things I admire about him is that he is still trying to improve.
He is. That's another thing too. I wish he would bring some of those characters back though, like that he created with continuity. You know?
Oh, that'd be great.
Like Megalith. Megalith was such a good character design.
Yeah.
You know? Armor was really good, dude.
Yeah.
And
I liked Armor a lot.
Some of the monsters he created, like when Megalith turned into a werewolf, I was like, dude, that's fucking horrifying. I was like, that's some cool shit, dude.
It was good shit.
Believe it or not, if you look at that, the work he did with his own company, it makes his Batman work look like shit. You know, like garbage.
I wouldn't go that far, but I hear what you're saying. But remember, it was his run on Batman that he's sort of best remembered for. Yeah, and artists, right? And artists can often be victims of their own success. That's to say, if they really, really, hit a home run with like one book, then people just want to see them do that.
Yeah.
And if they want to go on to do something else, it's like this happens to writers all the time. Like Arthur Conan Doyle, he was like, "I'm sick of writing fucking Sherlock Holmes. You want more Sherlock Holmes? Fuck you! I'm dropping him off like these waterfalls in Europe. Pew, see ya. He ain't coming back." But people are just like, "We want more Sherlock Holmes." He's like, "Oh god damn it."
I never liked Neil Adams' Batman work. I thought it was okay. I was like, whatever. But when I seen his continuity work, I was like, this is really good. Like you can tell, like, I don't know, like you said, he was practicing, like working for the big guys, and then when he got to go, and then there was a thing because continuity, all the artists that were hired on, were only hired on if they could look like Neil Adams. You know what I'm saying? So
the whole house style thing. Yeah.
they had a problem. Like DC and Marvel had a problem, especially DC at the time. Like they didn't know if Neil was actually drawing the work he was hired to do.
That's interesting.
No, if he was,
that's
if he was
interesting.
actually
If he was
farming it out.
outsourcing.
They thought
That's good.
That was a theory. There was a rumor going around, and they actually made a statement about it. They were like, when we hire Neil Adams to draw a comic, we expect Neil Adams to draw that comic, because apparently what he was doing, and it's not set in stone, but apparently what they think he was doing roughs, and then he would give it to one of his other artists to go ahead and do the finish lines. So he was basically doing a bunch of thumbnails and saying, "Okay, finish this."
Wow, it's like a real
I think he got kind of a bad rep for it. Yeah.
Well, it's an assembly line
because
of approach.
he took total credit for it.
But also, it's an assembly
but he
line
wasn't
approach.
giving anybody else credit.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem in and of itself. But also, it shows like a lack of passion. It shows a lack of putting everything you have into your work. Now, I can.
Well, I don't know about that because I kind of see it like this. Like he was like, all right, we gotta keep the lights on, so let's get this shit done. But let's get back to continuity.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Fuck Batman. Yeah. How about Armor and Megalith?
Because you also got to remember the great dirty secret of the comic book industry has always been how little they pay their creators.
Yeah.
That's true. And writers can do 3 comics a month. Artists can't. They can do 1 if they're lucky.
Well, the rumor, like back in the day, Wally Wood was working for Mad Magazine, right? And he was making $200 per page that he produced for Mad Magazine.
Damn.
And somebody suck my dick.
Yeah. Well, that was, keep in mind, this is back in 60s, I think.
Jeez.
Is that right? I don't.
Yeah.
60s,
Mad Magazine was
70s,
making so much money back in the day.
Yeah,
when did Mad come out? Was it 60s?
Late 50s, 60s.
Mad was the answer. Was EC's answer to the horror comics, because after the whole brouhaha with,
so it had to be early 60s when Mad,
early 60s, late 50s, early 60s, because the rules came out that they couldn't Seduction of the Innocent, that's what I'm thinking.
52.
Well, he started being he was being a prick, because he got an editor on Mad that was like fucking with him, so he started doing shit.
Yeah.
What year time frame are you talking about?
I don't know, but I know they were like fucking. They were just like playing around with him. So they said they playfully said they rejected one of his pieces, and he freaked the fuck out. He was like, "No, fuck you," and he quit to go to work for a comic company. I can't remember which one he went to work for, but he was making $40 a page. He went from making $200 a page for Mad and went and make $40 a page for another comic company.
Oh, that sucks.
But you got to remember, it doesn't really suck because $40 a page was actually top was still a good pay rate for back in the 60s.
You're right, but still, it was making $200, and we're talking about Wally Wood here.
Well, back in the day, Mad Magazine, it's like the syndicated radio shows. The print, just like syndicated back then, was in the tens of millions.
Yeah, sure was.
Tens of millions. Syndicated radio shows in the 80s, especially the late 80s, and then all through the 90s. They would have somewhere between 10 million to 100 fucking million people listening to them on the radio before the internet.
Yeah.
And so that's how Mad Magazine and the other one was. What's the one that's
Cracked?
not Mad?
Cracked.
Cracked. Yeah, it's exactly. Those guys, their print was out of this fucking world.
Yeah, it was.
Out of this world.
Yeah, it was.
And now they can't even print them 500,000 a month.
Yeah, but you got to realize too, it sounds fucking impressive, but I think the magazine back then was 25 cents. or
Yeah.
something.
Well, back in the day, yes.
It wasn't like they were making the money they're making off of magazines. It's not like they're buying magazines for $3 a pop. Yeah,
Yeah.
But they could pay a dude $200 a page.
Yeah,
Well,
they could, but they would deal it in volume because they had to make their money in volume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also back
Can
then,
you imagine the print prices they were getting? Like a penny to print a whole magazine or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that cheap
Two pennies.
newsprint, man, that cheap newsprint that would rub off on your fingers. War
Yeah.
magazines were especially.
What was that little
guilty of
Play-Doh
that.
you could put on there? The
Yes.
Silly
Yes.
putty.
shit.
Yeah,
Silly
silly putty.
Was it
Silly putty.
Was it
Yeah,
EC
yeah.
that when they actually had
get
their
the whole
own
fucking
printing
thing?
company? And the only reason they printed comics was because they had to keep the presses going. Because if they stopped, it cost them thousands to go
To stop pressing. Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know about that. That sounds interesting. Though.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they had one of the biggest printing companies ever but their books were shit, like garbage. You know? Pacific, I think it was Pacific Comics.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
their books were like the shittiest. In fact, they don't hold up with age either. Like you run across them and they're garbage. You know,
They're crumbling, right?
Dry rot.
Falling
Yeah,
apart,
like, they're
yeah.
garbage. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh god. Even worse than the Warren magazines were like the rip-offs of the Warren magazines. You know, the ones that would have like these incredibly busy covers where you would see like a werewolf with like a wooden stake in its heart, and like a witch, and like a vampire on fire, and like a woman being like eaten alive by ants, like all on the same cover. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Christ, dude. That's
Sounds
some
like
sick
fun.
shit. You're a fucked up dude, bro.
Something about some stuff.
I got that shit in hardcover, son.
He's got the Wi-Fi. He's going to go get it right
He's
now.
gonna
Yeah, I
get it.
sure am. Because I know Preston's
That
gonna go.
motherfucker's going to the
"Boing,
kitchen."
boing, boing."
All right, we can't hear him anymore. He's going to the kitchen.
He's going to the kitchen. He's he make himself a sandwich.
Make myself a sandwich.
Gotta make some tea.
Makes him nice Earl Grey.
Yeah.
Bedtime
Couple of minutes,
tea.
we gotta head out, Brian. I gotta go. I got shit to do.
I haven't. I had some string cheese and some cashews. That's all I've had to eat all day.
Yo.
I'm a little hungry.
We had meatball subs.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
why you're going blind, dude. String cheese and cashews. Fucking
Hey,
instant
man.
blindness right there.
That's a dinner of champions right there. I'll tell you.
So, Jason, you're going to be on Shay's channel starting
Yeah.
a new.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try to be on all the slots because I mean this was kind of my brainchild, and Shay and them are just really helping out. Like it's on their thing, so they're taking the reins and doing the hard work.
Who printed
that's
those,
awesome.
Brian? Is that
These are Yo Books.
Yo books.
Yeah, it's this guy named Craig Yo. He had a table opposite mine at the New York Comic Con.
and he just reprinted a bunch of Erie stuff?
Oh, dude, all kinds of shit. These are beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
Right?
that.
Shit,
This
dude.
is, I'm trying to remember the name of the company because I remember there was somebody, I actually met the daughter of one of the publishers.
So they're
Who's-
printing old stuff that's out of copyright?
I don't think
well,
Eerie or Creepy's out of copyright. I think they're still, maybe they might be. I don't know.
Except
I
this
don't think they
wasn't, like-
fall within.
this wasn't Creepy or Eerie. This was like the ripoff. Oh yeah, Eerie Publications. That was the name of the company. And yeah, like that's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that cover.
Well, I have an idea for
Look at all
Preston.
the
This
shit
just
that's going on
reminded
in
me
there.
of that. I feel once he gets his webpage going, it would be a good remind me to remind you to remind me about printing
Remind you
things
to remind me.
and add to your webpage
All right.
with your art.
That's
Rock and
cool
roll.
stuff.
Yeah, well, I have a
good stuff.
friend who's on Amazon. You know, to be honest, I'll throw it a little bit out. So I have a friend who's on Amazon, and he uses old school published prints that are outside of copyright, and he has his
Yeah.
own little method that he uses on Photoshop, and he'll do some things, and he sells it on Amazon. And I feel like Preston because, I mean, Jason, both of y'all too. I don't know your Amazon presence, but y'all could, because you're all artists, y'all can do something one time to be sold multiple times over.
I wanna check all that out.
Yeah,
Dude, I need
once
time,
you
dude. Like, I
want
just don't
exactly.
have
That's
time
what I
at
was
the
saying.
moment.
Like
Yeah.
once your web page is going,
Yeah.
and you made the art once, and the print can be done multiple times over without your drop shipping. It's drop shipping, and I feel like a couple artists are missing it.
This is
Taking advantage of it.
so Fantagraphic Books has reprinted all of the EC comics into volumes.
Are these in
all on-
color?
all of, I think they are. I think they're all in there. Whatever the original print was in EC. This is what it is.
Oh, that's awesome, because I remember when they first came out with hardcover reprints of EC Comics, they were all in black and white. And I love black and white comic book art, but if it was published in color, then I want it in color.
Well, they have separate books, like, you know, by different artists.
Yeah.
But then they have the whole library.
Right.
And here's volume 1 of the EC Artist Library. Volume 2. These fucking volumes are fucking thick, dude.
Huge.
Yeah, man.
Huge.
Plentiful
Yeah.
too. Like, I think they got 5 or 6 volumes out of all this shit,
Jeez.
dude.
And you know what? The crime
Yeah.
comics that they were publishing at that time were way more twisted than the horror comics.
Well,
Dude, they were crazy.
right?
Yeah.
There's a big niche on Amazon that is taking advantage of intellectual property that's public, and and they're doing no effort, high reward, and this is an example. I don't even who's selling this. What is this right here?
This is
Fantagraphics.
Fantagraphics. This is all Fantagraphics.
Fangraphics.com. Never
They've
heard
been
of
around
it.
for a long time.
Never
Yeah,
heard of it.
they've been doing this. In fact, if EC books are still in the copyright, you know, I got a feeling Fantagraphic licensed it, because Fantagraphic does a lot of shit like that.
Right.
Like they,
So they hit them
this
up.
is holy shit, dude. I might have to get this one. Frank Frazetta in.
50 girls. That's all I need to see.
Yeah, well, look at the artist on this. Al Williams and fucking Frank Frazetta.
That's
Damn.
So I got a question, because Frank's 2 granddaughters or daughters run Frank's trust.
They had to, because the kids wouldn't stop fucking fighting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do these? Yeah.
Yep.
Do these guys hit
That's
up Frank's trust to print his old work? Is that how this works?
Oh shit, they're out of stock on it. God damn it.
Yeah. That's interesting, man.
I
hate it when that
That's
happens.
very interesting.
Yeah, man.
Preston, you need to start doing random obscure things like this.
Well, that's what I'm planning on doing with the next Doc Salem issue. Like, I want Doc
Yes.
Salem Tales, where it's just like Doc Salem narrating,
Yes.
like as the Crypt Keeper, but maybe he's sitting in front of a fire and he's like, "Hey, you're there."
Yes. Fuck yeah,
Let me tell
dude.
you
That's
about the
amazing.
story.
And
Hell
like,
yeah, dude.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
And like have a
I can hear you.
no, my mic goes out.
Oh,
connections.
He slapped it.
But
Yeah.
yeah, dude. Like, and the reason why I came across like Fantagraphic was because of the Red Room comic, and I went ahead and got 2 issues of number 1. I got an issue of number 2, and I also reserved number 3.
Right.
What Ed Piscor is doing with that is just fucking crazy, dude. Like, it's nuts.
So is this new right here? Is this new or old?
Yeah, it's new. It just hasn't been released yet. And
Fuck
while
yeah,
I was
dude.
on here, and I was like, I'm gonna get the Ed Piscor, you know, for fucking Red Room, because he's been promoted and leaking the art and stuff like
And
that.
what is Fanta Graphics? I need to favorite places.
Fantagraphics. Yeah. And the premise behind Red Room is that it's you know, like they have like cam rooms where chicks like do stuff to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, Red
Oh,
Room.
I've seen this. Yeah.
Red Rooms, they go ahead and it's you can pay to have them mutilate somebody. Yeah.
Right.
Like cut his arm off, you know.
Yeah.
$50 or something like that. And yeah, dude, like I was checking that out, but you know what I ran into like while checking this out? I let's see here, new releases are coming soon. All right. I also ran across a new Barry Windsor Smith book that's coming out called Monsters.
Wow.
And this is all Fantagraphics? Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So I wanna-
Fantagraphics has been doing this shit for a long time.
I've never heard of these guys. I
This
appreciate
is
it.
brand new. Like, this is a brand new Barry Windsor Smith book that's coming out called Monsters. It's not
Man.
released yet. So I went ahead and I was like, oh, no. I got to get this one. I got to get this one.
Man, when
Hell
you
yeah,
look, I mean,
dude.
talk about like an artist that grew. holy shit, man! You look at his like Conan comics.
Oh
and,
God, he was like a carbon copy of Kirby, like a bad carbon copy
Right.
too.
Yeah. You know, that shit really does not hold up at all. And then
No.
you look at the next level shit that he's been doing for like the last like
Nice.
30 years.
Dude,
Unbelievable.
I was introduced to
Unbelievable.
Barry's work through Machine Man, like the 1 through 4
yeah,
series he
yeah.
did. Machine Man. Dude,
Oh, I
fuck.
thought that was all Kirby, or was this like a sequel?
No,
series?
you're talking about the original Machine Man series.
Oh,
You're talking
gotcha,
about the
gotcha,
one where
gotcha.
each issue, like his head, is being built from
Built, yeah.
issue to on the cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think
I don't know why I
Barry
forgot
Winslow
that.
Smith, although his art was dominant in there, I think he was doing the finish work on that. I don't think he did the breakdowns on it. No.
And the X-Men Weapon X stuff. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, that's
my god.
gorgeous.
My God.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at that and being like, this is Barry Windsor Smith? Holy
Yeah, dude.
shit.
Well, I think he
Oh
did
my
Machine Man
God.
first. You might want to check out that Machine Man 1 through
He did
4.
Machine
series.
Man.
Oh, I
before
got it.
that,
I got it somewhere. I just for some reason totally forgot about it, but
Yeah,
I remember it.
He was super creative in that, dude. Like
Yeah.
he introduced Iron Man 2099 and fucking,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, fucking those fucking Apache Indians on those flying motorcycles. and shit
Yes.
like that.
Yes. Oh man, I gotta dig those up. I haven't read those in like 20 or 30 years.
Crazy, dude. Like
Awesome shit.
I still got them. I was like, God damn. I was like, this is the best shit ever. And then I didn't realize like Kirby created Machine Man because I was too young and I didn't know like I wasn't
Right.
really a huge Kirby fan, right? Until I started collecting Kirby.
That's when you kind of become a Kirby fan, actually. Because
Yeah.
we're younger, we see like, you know, Liefeld, we see all these weird talents, and then we're like, Kurt, look at this guy. But once you grow up, you're like, wow, this guy's
Exactly.
amazing.
It
Yeah.
wasn't until I grew up a little bit I was like, oh shit, no,
Yeah.
Kirby's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
His style
My very
just
first
didn't
my very
appeal.
first comic book that I can remember was a Jack Kirby Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine was in Key West, Florida. I was on an amphibious base. My dad was a police cop or a Navy cop, and I got Conan and what was it? Thor. The 300s or the late 200s for Thor, and Conan was Marvel. Who the fuck is partying in the background there?
My nephews are playing.
Are they buying Thor comics?
No, they're in their cages trying to
I
get
miss
out.
it, dude. I miss the old days when
You got
I
the
was
Ruby
introduced
dog
to Kirby
cages,
through
right?
Thor, too.
Yeah, you gotta
Thor
give them
was-
some.
yeah, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I started with Thor and Conan, man.
Yeah,
Thor
no,
and
that's you know that's a great place to start, and
Yeah.
that's what's so sad about when you look at how whack comics are today, and you think to yourself like, oh my god, a kid might like their first comic book might be like America Chavez #1.
Oh, jeez, oh, man,
God,
no.
dude. Yeah, that's what somebody said. Somebody told me. They said,
Revolution.
I don't remember who
It's
said this,
sad,
but they
man.
said what's really sad is that they're going to be raised to think that's good comics.
Yeah.
No,
Sadly,
they're just
yeah.
not going to become comic book fans. They're
Like-
just not going to learn to love
Like
comics.
they're being programmed to think like that's good. Like that's how good comics.
Yeah,
are
but you
made.
can't program kids.
Like,
Kids
I
are
don't know about that.
kids
Like,
are smart. Kids are smarter than adults give them credit for.
That's like trying to get them to think like cherry cough medicine is candy. And it's not.
Good
It's
to
not
be a
gnarly.
kid.
It's
Yeah,
gnarly.
this is
So that's
delicious.
gonna make kids go, ugh. I remember once. Oh man, it was like when Sin City came out on DVD, and
City.
yeah, and Best Buy was selling it with a comic book with a Frank Miller Sin City comic, right? Which was basically just like reprints.
Yeah.
But when you bought the DVD, you got a free comic with it. And there was a guy who saw me with the DVD. He's like, "Oh, dude, where'd you get that?" I'm like, "Oh, there's a display stand over there. But don't forget you to grab like your free comic with it." And I showed him this thing, and this is literally his reaction. Ugh. I was like, ugh. I couldn't figure out. Was it like he recoiled because it was a book, or he recoiled because it was a comic book?
Comic book.
I think so.
Yeah.
So. And my God, you think of like, I mean, is there a single movie that's come out in like the last 20 years that
20
isn't
years
based
about.
on a comic book?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
I know, right?
people don't know that. They
I
don't
know.
know that. So yeah,
Well,
sadly.
you know, they know it about like, you know, like the superhero movies, but they're changing that as well.
Yeah, they're changing it. Yeah,
You know,
it's
like
tragic.
it is. It's super sad because we love this medium so much. It means something to us, and you want to see it continue, and you want to see it. You want to see new generations of fans, and I'm afraid they're losing them, man. They're not getting them.
Like they're bumping prices up more now, also. So
Yeah,
you
they
might
jacked
as
them
well.
up $1.
Yeah, so you might as well at this point get an indie book like that's on Indiegogo or something because they're pretty much almost the same price,
Yep.
and you're gonna get a lot of crap with it. Yeah, people are like, oh, they're adult oriented. I'm like, but whatever. I was reading Spawn at the age of 13, 14 where he's tearing apart child molesters.
Yeah.
Like you can't tell me they're too adult oriented.
Yeah,
So
kids love that shit.
Yeah, dude, they eat it up. So everybody's just trying to just saturate everything, just make everything in a little bubble and make it safe. And it's like, no, your children are going to be wrecked when they get older. Plain and simple.
Yeah, they're just not gonna, you know, there's no way that they're gonna get addicted to this stuff. There's no way that they're gonna read an issue of America Chavez and be like, I gotta find out what happens next.
I hope not, but you never know.
It ain't happening, man. I'm telling you, it ain't happening. No friggin' way.
We gotta end this because it's getting late.
I
Still got
know.
shit to do.
I got shit to do too. We got Blood Hunt and Doc Salem to write.
So we
You
are
sexy
out of here.
motherfucker. Right.
That was tasty.
Peace out, everybody.
Everybody, check out Jason's book. I can't
Thank you.
remember Jason. Jason, what's
He
your-
left.
what's the name
Why
of
did
the
he
book?
leave?
Absolute.
He left.
Book 2.
Absolute.
Yeah, Brian just dropped out.
Yeah, Brian's gone.